you're well. Today's video is what has shaped your beauty standards. By the way, if you hear the creaky floor, I've mentioned it before, it's not me doing a blow off. The floor is creaky. All right, so I was encouraged to do this video based off a conversation I had recently with some friends, and it got us all thinking, and me thinking even afterwards, about what has shaped my beauty standards over the years. Now, this video could be very exhaustive. I'll try and keep it as short as possible. But this topic, when it comes to women and beauty, women's beauty, it's like, can one really do it in one video? I think not. But anyway, I'll first start off by saying this. I was born in 1991 and I'm now 32 years old. And I class myself as a 2000s baby. Even though I was born in the 90s, what do I mean by this? In the 90s, I was growing up. So yes, I have vague memories of certain things when I was a child. But in the 2000s and up is when I was really aware of what was happening, more immersed in media and so on. Do you get what I mean? More immersed and more aware of what was happening within culture. I lived in Jamaica from 2002 to 2009. I did high school out there. That's why I tend to say high school, because, you know, they don't really say secondary school there. Now, in Jamaica, that's where I was able to see just how prejudiced we can be towards our own. The fact that one of the cusses is, oh, you're black and ugly. You know the one there. You're black and ugly. It's not just that the person's ugly, it's that they're black and ugly. I saw people bleaching, even men perming, you know, relaxing their hair, where I was more used to seeing that only women relax their hair. I'm like, okay, men relax their hair too. And obviously this is not a new thing. It's something that they did back in the day, like the 60s and so on, you know, when they experienced even more overt racism and they were made to feel so bad about their hair, which is why in the 70s we were more encouraged to rock the afro. So anyway, so in Jamaica, I was able to experience that. There's a term in Jamaica called coolie. People don't really like to be referred to as coolie, but it's just when you talk about someone with coolie hair, it generally means that they have Indian soft type hair, right? Now, that also kind of shaped me to feel like I never really had a problem with skin color, but I definitely wanted hair like Chilli. To be fair, I knew about Chilli from before Jamaica. My iteration of TLC was like the Fan Mail album. I didn't know them when they came out in the 90s and had the condom on. I would have been a little child. I wasn't experiencing that or paying attention to TLC. So when I got introduced to TLC, my brother had the album. It was Fan Mail, No Scrubs was absolutely huge, you know, and all those things. So anyway, so that was Jamaica. And just being a black woman in general, it's easy to see in the media that what we call beautiful, black women come like down here. Anything beautiful that's darker skin tends to just come down lower on the scale. Over the years, I've been able to see that within different cultures, the darker someone is, they're more looked down upon. You know, we usually see the face of India or the face of Brazil, and it's usually someone lighter. And if you go into those type of countries, you'll see there are huge groups of people who are darker skinned. Okay, so that's a global thing, that black skin isn't really celebrated. It's not just a Jamaican thing, it's a global thing. So anyway, the reason why I started out saying, you know, I was a 2000s baby is because for me, there was one woman specifically who I can say, I'm not asking you, I'm telling you, as a 2000s baby, there's one specific woman who impacted how we view women's body shape and how we view feminine dress. Yeah. And that woman is Jennifer Lopez. I know some people are probably thinking Kim Kardashian. No, Kim Kardashian came later on. Maybe when, I think around the time that Jennifer Lopez would have been busting, maybe Kim Kardashian was still working as an assistant for Brandy or Paris Hilton, right? She wasn't the Kim Kardashian that we know now. But Jennifer Lopez shaped how we view bodies and dress. The reason why I say this is this. I've made a few notes here because I don't want to forget. So basically in 2000, February 2000, Jennifer Lopez wore a green Versace silk chiffon dress to the 42nd Grammy Awards, right? This dress was designed by Donatella Versace. Her brother had passed away. I'm not sure how recent it was, but he was the name for Versace. And Donatella designing this dress and Jennifer Lopez wearing it really allowed Versace to become a household name. And I didn't know this dress was actually worn by her and Geri Halliwell before, but it's just that when Jennifer Lopez wore it at that time, it was huge. It was discussed, this is the dress, it was discussed for weeks after the event, television specials, magazine covers, yeah? And look at this. In January 2015, Google's president Eric Schmidt cited the massive attention to this dress as the motivation for the creation of Google Images. And I quote, "At the time, it was the most popular search query we had ever seen." So this dress impacted technology. It didn't only impact, oh, we talk about in the fashion world, it impacted how we utilize Google. Obviously, that wasn't the only singular thing, but they were saying it was a huge motivation because it was so searched. They were like, oh, we have to make Google Images, right? Learn something new today. And look at the joke, what J-Lo said about this dress. "It was a nice dress. I had no idea it was going to become a big deal." So the reason why I'm citing this dress is because, as you can see here, and reading those things again, it had such a huge, huge impact on fashion, right? And in 2000, I would have been, if my maths is correct, I would have been 9 years old. Now, I don't know if I actually remember that at 9 because would I have been watching the Grammys on UK television? But I probably would have seen news articles. I think I do remember seeing news articles because some people even teased her or gunned her about the dress. That's the joke. Like, not everyone was on it, but it made such a huge impact. Now, obviously, she's not the first woman to show flesh, right? But after J-Lo wore that dress, it was just breasts everywhere. So many dresses that you see after that were inspired by that dress. Like, yes, women were showing flesh, you know, that's nothing new. But in terms of the design, with that plunging neck, it influenced so much fashion. Literally in 2000. I'm telling you, I'm not asking you. Now, in terms of body, we all know that naturally, most Black women that you come across will have shape. They'll have curves. But as we see, as history has shown us, on Black women, it was kind of looked upon as, ooh, ooh. Now, let me tell you this. Jennifer Lopez didn't actually like her body because it was curvy. She said she didn't feel thin enough and she used to compare herself to others. Now, I understand why. Remember, she came up in the 90s. That's when her career, when she was getting into the industry. So she's born in the, what year was she born? Sorry, I need to check. But anyway, she was experiencing the culture of the 90s. She was experiencing the industry of the 90s. Remember in the 90s, we had the whole supermodel movement. Do you see what I mean? That's when you had the supermodel, the Naomi Campbells and all those women there. And yes, Naomi Campbell is Black, but it's not like they were celebrating fully curvaceous figures. It was more about being thin. So you have to think the media that Jennifer Lopez was ingesting told her that thin is in. It's all about being thin. So many women looked at Jennifer Lopez's body and thought, oh, that's desirable, because you see, when it's on a Black woman, it's not so desirable. But when those features are on white women or other, it's seen as exotic. So because of J-Lo and her curves and her impact, remember, it wasn't just about the dress. Her career was at an all-time high. She was having, you know, If You Had My Love, when that tune came out, produced by Rodney Jerkins, that was a huge song. Yes, she had Selena, which was a big movie in the latter part of the 90s, but her music career, she had a lot of hits and all those type of things. So it was a huge phenomenon. She was a huge phenomenon, and to this day she's still popular. Not as popular, having her moment, but she's still very popular anyway. So the thing is, so you can see she didn't really like her curves, but people looked at her and thought, wow, I want that body. And I think this point is so important because I was having this conversation with a friend as well, that I remember one time having a conversation with a relative where she was looking at my body like, I want your body, because at the time I was slimmer, you know, more athletic looking. And I was looking at her like, I want your body. Because for me, yes, there was J-Lo, but I'm coming up in the early 2000s. You've got to remember there's Nelly, there's Apple Bottom Jeans. I'm ingesting loads of hip hop videos. And in those hip hop videos, We all experience the same video vixens. You know, they had the shape and all those types of things. So for me, I always wanted curves. I used to pray for breast, bum, and period. I know, period. I don't know why I used to pray for period. You know, the ones when you just want to be big and then you experience period and you see how painful it is. Thank God I don't have the pain like I used to, but it was extremely painful at one point. But, you know, this is what was motivating me. Oh, okay, so that's the figure. Yes, I want the big bum. I want the big breast. I want to be boom, boom, boom. You know, I remember being a little girl and one of my mom's friends said to me, oh, I remember when my breasts used to stand to attention. And now I'm older, I get what she's saying. You know what I mean? Like gravity and all these things happen. But anyway, as a young girl coming up, curves were always in for me. I always thought, wow. So yeah, I just wanted to make that point. Jennifer Lopez, in terms of dress and body type, huge, massive impact. And this is a quote by J-Lo. Feeling beautiful is an attitude, and we should all look for the beautiful things we love about ourselves, regardless of how our bodies compare to someone else. Now, isn't that interesting? That's someone being able to reflect. And you see, as celebrated as her body was, she was there looking at other people, comparing her body to them. So if we're always stuck in this comparison, this is why I said in my other video that we'll always be feeling left empty, because everyone's looking at everyone, but we're never going to look like that person. Now, dress and body type. This is why the Bible says, you know, fruits of the spirit, in terms of your character, be like Christ, right? As a woman, let your adornment be that of your character and not just the outward. The reason why God says these things, and let me just say this really quick, God has no problem with beauty. God is a creator and he is creative. God gave us color, he gave us jewels, you know, he gave us all these natural, beautiful elements that we see, the gold, the silver, all of these things, right? God even said when you make the sanctuary, make it beautiful as well. He didn't just want, no, sorry, it was the outfit, the priestly outfit. I'll try and find the verse. He wanted it to be for function and for beauty. Even in the Bible writers who were inspired by the Holy Spirit told us how Absalom looked good and Joseph was muscular and looked good and Rachel. God has no problem with people looking good or things being beautiful. The Bible itself is a book full of poetry, beauty, right? But he understands, God understands more than anybody because he was able to look through time. God understands that in 1950, this was beautiful. In 1960, this is going to be beautiful. In the 80s, they're going to say thin is in. And in the 90s, they're going to say this. And in the 2000s. Now, when you get to like the 2010s onwards, Kim Kardashian further, you know, like the explosion of Kim Kardashian further encouraged this curvy look. But yes, not on black women, but this curvy look, like, oh, so amazing. But the joke is, I recently saw something about how some celebrities were taking a pill to lose weight. So I guess thin is in again. So do you see, every single decade, what we call beautiful is going to chop and change. That's why I take the advice of the Bible and work on the inside, work on the character, because that is something that will never fail. As I said, you know, the comment about the breast standing to attention. At one point, your breasts are going to stand to attention. And unless you get surgery, gravity and motherhood is going to bring them down. And that's okay. When you accept how you look within, that is the first point of beauty. Working on your mental health is the first point of being beautiful, being like Christ, yeah? Emanating those things from within, the confidence, the contentment. That is the first point of beauty. After that, look to be neat and clean and take care of your health as much as possible. Trust me, I've neglected my health and now I'm trying to do as best as I can. I could even be doing better, but the more that I've started to like do my little workouts and stuff like that, I'm starting to like how I look. It is important to look at your own body and like what you see in the mirror. And if you don't, if it's possible for you to exercise and eat better, do those things. Do the long, hard work. Don't just be like these celebrities and taking some pills or getting surgery. Because think of how many women, even black women who have shape a lot of the time, have died trying, you know, getting these BBLs just for society to turn around and say, oh, those BBLs are so lush. Yeah. Do you see what I'm saying? And now you've done all of that, killed yourself, spent money, or, you know, now you're sick because you got some botched job surgery, all to keep up with trends. But this Savior, the Lord, has told you from day, yes, there's nothing wrong with beauty, but it's your character that's going to last. So I'm telling you, have a think about what has shaped your beauty standards, because culturally, as we can see, one culture is going to say bigger looks better, one culture is going to say thinner looks better. A lot of culture says the blacker the berry, the juice ain't sweeter, but if you're lighter, you're brighter. A lot of cultures are going to, what are we going to do? Should we bleach ourselves now, like many people have, and destroy their skin and start looking like duppies? Because that's another thing that I forgot to say. You know, being in Jamaica, I was there for, you know, seeing Vybz Kartel come up, and he had lovely dark skin, and now he's ruined himself, looking like a ghost, looking ghastly. When people bleach, they tend to like get this yellow, and then the knuckles look a different color and all of that. It just, so sometimes we're trying to enhance ourselves, but we end up looking worse. Like we, no, sometimes we, it's not even that we look worse. I don't want to say we end up looking worse than we did. It's like we try to enhance ourselves, but now you just look bad. You don't look good where you already look good. If only you were to accept yourself. So I'm saying this to say, to hit the point, Jennifer Lopez made a huge impact on how we see outward, beauty. She herself has said beauty comes from within, what the Bible is saying. She herself has had her own insecurities. So how long are we going to keep on looking and trying to master ourselves after trends? You know, nowadays we've got filters, and the filters tend to be more European. I've noticed from a long time, it's like it kind of wants to make people lighter and make their features look more European. All of these things, like learn to just take pictures of your face. Like I've had to learn it, and I'm telling you to learn it, because you're going to look back and you'll say, I wish I took more pictures of just my face. I don't even know how I look because it's all filtered out, right? Now, there was another point I wanted to make as well. No, that was it. That was it. But yeah, what has shaped your beauty standards? And we have to unlearn. There's so many things we have to unlearn. That's what I was going to say. In terms of dress, so as I said, Jennifer Lopez's dress impacted a lot of the design. So a lot of the designs that we see. So the reason why I brought it out is to say this. In terms of looking good as a woman, society has told us that we have to show lots of flesh in order to look good. You don't actually have to show lots of your skin to look feminine and attractive. It's like we've married femininity with the more flesh that you show. You don't have to show all your breasts and all these things to feel beautiful. Mystery is still classy and attractive. You don't have to have everything on show. You don't have to have everything out there. Yeah. And I understand the struggle. Okay. I understand the struggle because over the years, not every single outfit that I've worn has been modest, right? And I'm not going to come here and say, oh, I'm the role model for modesty or anything like that, right? I'm not saying that at all. I understand the struggle of wanting to show the flesh. Remember, I came up on the same media as you. I came up on the same media telling me your value is placed upon your beauty and outward and the shape of your body and all of that. So I know, yeah? And sometimes when you're trying to dress a certain way and be more modest, people can make remarks like, oh, granny, or in my church, people say things like, oh, you're trying to dress like Ellen G. White and all those types of things. I mean, she lived many years ago, but so obviously whatever you wear is not going to look like that. But people say these types of things. Yes, you don't have to dress like an Amish woman or a Mennonite woman to be modest. And I'm not saying that to diss them. That's their culture. That's fine. But at the same time, you don't have to be on the other extreme. There's two extremes, yeah? One where people feel like, oh, I have to look like a nun. And the other where people feel like, well, I have to look like a stripper. Because a lot of the fashion nowadays, it is almost like, yeah, we're just strippers and we've kind of glamorized wearing bikinis outside, if you know what I mean. Like sometimes women are wearing things, you're like, where's the rest of the material, yeah? So this is all I'm saying. God has no problem with beauty, but learn little things like what color looks good on me. I remember just buying clothes to just be modest. Oh, let me just buy this because it's modest. And then over the years, I realized I don't actually like how this looks. This actually does nothing for me. I'm not a naturally stylish person. But over the years, you start to see, oh, this looks better on me or this looks better on me. Ask God to guide you and show you. First of all, Lord, help me to have your character so that I can be truly beautiful. And second of all, show me how to dress. Show me how to dress for me, for my body type, for my skin type, so that I can feel and look the best that I can. Because what I'm not gonna do, yeah, is over spiritualize this thing and say it's all about the heart. It's all about the heart. No, we're not doing that. Yeah? Ooh, this phone wants to die. We're not gonna do that and say it's all about the heart. No. Looks do matter. Looks matter because people judge a book by its cover. So I'm telling you, do whatever you need to do to look in the mirror and feel good about yourself, because looks matter, but it's just that it's not the be all and end all. So I hope you enjoyed my rant, my video on what has shaped your beauty standards. Please let me know in the comments, you know, especially if you were experiencing media and culture in a different decade than me. Let me know what shapes your beauty standards and how are you going about feeling beautiful now. All right then, bye ladies.